Conan the Barbarian was relaunched in comic books in 2019. Let's see what covers that they have come up with since they've restarted that series. Hey YouTube, it's Matt here. Like we said in the introduction, we are going to be talking about the covers from the 2019 Conan the Barbarian series from Marvel. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I love to collect Conan. I go out of my way to collect every single variant cover that I can, at least if it's printed by Marvel or Dark Horse. Blaze, you just have way too many variants out there for me. Variants that you don't even post. It's just too hard to track all of those down, so I'm sticking with the Marvel for now. And like I said before, the Dark Horse. But I love to collect these covers. Until I pulled these out of my comic book drawers, I didn't realize exactly how many covers there were. I believe that there were, and now we could figure it out once I go through here. I think that there was like 25 or 27 different covers for issue number 1. That has a print date of January, or forgive me, it actually came out in January 2019, but the print date is March 2019. But it did come out actually the very first week of January in the year 2019. That was the year that Marvel got the rights back from Dark Horse Comics. Now, to go through all this, it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to be a little bit of fun. But I do want to do a shameless plug before we go any further. I have this really awesome, and I'm going to have to put pictures up on here, this really awesome coffee tumbler. Let's see what it says. Hey YouTube, Matt here. Anyhow, this was a Father's Day present from my son. And when I say shameless plug, I do have to shout out the small little business that put this out. This came from Bubba Crafts and Cups, okay? Now, full disclosure, my sister-in-law is the one who owns this business, but she does fabulous work, and the camera's not doing really good justice to this tumbler, so I'm going to have to take some pictures and post it up on her. But you can find her on Facebook. I will have a link down in the description, but Bubba Crafts and Cups, okay? And honestly, there are some early appearances of Conan the Barbarian and Spider-Man on here, so they did a really good job with this Father's Day present of mine last week. So, without further ado, let's get on to the Conan the Barbarian comic books, okay? Now, you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. Some of these I know. Some of them I'm not sure who the artist is, but this is one by Asar, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, but this is the party variant. I'm not exactly sure what it means, but hey, I'll do a little dance if that's what it takes to get to party variant, alright? So, this is just the Asar. Now, you can tell one of them is a sketch, one of them is the full color version. This is just considered a variant cover. This cover right here is from the same man that did the A cover. This is a variant cover by Ribic, okay? Now, this book right here, this came from Unknown Comics. This is a J. Scott variant cover. Conan, he has some X-Men behind him, but this is a Virgin variant. This is the 1 in 25 Daniel Acuna cover. You know, cool looking cover right here. Next up is the Comic Mint sketch Virgin cover from Zafino. That's the artist here. Now, I like this version. And this is the exact same thing, just with Keller. These books are actually like very striking whenever you have them right in front of you. But they both come with certificates of authenticity. Don't know what I'd do with that, but whatever. And here is the trade dress variant, or the one with the trade dress. This is the 1 in 50 variant. Another really, really cool striking cover. This is still Conan the Barbarian #1, but this is the third printing right here. Now, the A cover right here, and again, this is a ribbon cover right here. Now, some of you guys love Scotty Young's work, and listen, sometimes Scotty Young does really, really good art and covers. I'm just not his biggest fan, okay? Now, again, to each their own. I respect him. He does a lot better job than I would ever do. But Scotty Young on Conan the Barbarian, I don't know. Some people like it. It's just not my thing, all right? Now, this is a premiere variant of Conan the Barbarian. It's the same cover as the A cover, with just not the whole ink cover and everything. I don't know why they do that, but I guess I do know why they do that, because people like me are going to buy it, even though they already have the art, just to say, hey, I own this. So, that's why they do it. And honestly, it seems to work for them. All right, here is the Perillo variant with the trade dress. Now, this book here, okay, whenever I see this, and you guys are going to say the same thing on YouTube, it's all right. But when you're looking at it, it is amazing, the art in there. And I do have, this is a book that I sent off. This is the Virgin variant of the same book. Okay, this is a book that I sent off. I did not feel that it would come back at 9.8, just because there are, allowable imperfections. I stress that because I have another video where I talk about 9.8s versus 9.9s. You'll see in a lot of 9.8s, they are not perfect books by any stretch. Now, this book here, this is Elite Comics in Huck Lee version, and it is signed by the man himself, okay? COA, gotta love it. All right, now, this is one of those, action figure variants. Kind of cool. I don't know. It's a gimmick. And it gets people like me that buys multiple covers, different variants. Now, this is the blank variant, and there's like crepe paper on the outside of this. And what it is, it's to protect it. If you go send this to CGC will take that off. But underneath it, and you can kind of see a little bit of the outline, it has a trade dress, but just a blank variant, so that if I ever go to a con and I find somebody that I want to either put some art on it or sign it, I have this available. Comic sketch art. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover of Conan. The guy who brought Conan to the big screen, if you will. But for the most part, that was a very successful movie. Definitely gained more of a cult following since, but they keep talking about making a third Conan the Barbarian with Arnold. I don't know if they ever will. I am kind of excited for the live action version that's coming out on Netflix. Now, they released that they were going to come out with it last September of 2020. There hasn't been a whole lot of word out for that. I've actually looked to see if there's any news articles. None recently, okay? So here is another variant. I love this one. This one has, Conan sitting on the throne. Like we talked about. He does eventually do that. Here's a cool little cover. I say they're cool. You know what? There is a lot of striking art on these comic books, but we are still in issue number 1, and somewhere I came by the second, printing. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm going through them. So, anyhow, this is the last one. Well, no, I do have a couple more on here. Here is another variant. This is a 1 in 10 variant right here. And one of my favorite books in the collection that a lot of people don't know about. This is a 1 in 500 Greg Hildebrandt cover. Really, really dope cover on that one. I think it's just striking. Here's the 1 in 200 variant cover for Conan the Barbarian #1. This is a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Now we're finally going on to issue number 2. And currently I have up to issue 22, but I'm missing the A cover in my collection. I have it ordered, it's bought, but it's being shipped in the mail. But I do have the 1 in 25 variant But I'll get to that when I get to that. Here is issue number 2 right here. And there were a lot of issues, a lot of variants for issue 1. There's a good solid handful for issue 2. And then it seems to slow down after that, especially after issue 3. Another issue, or another variant for 2. This one I had to look online for. This is the action figure variant of King Conan. Now, this might be my favorite cover in the entire series. This is a Mark Brooks variant. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my eBay story. Now, there's a time I will set limits on myself on eBay purchases, especially if it's going up for auction. There was a signed copy, 9.8, of this Mark Brooks variant. Mark Brooks is becoming one of my favorite artists. Anyhow, I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to pay more than $60 for this book because it's just not worth it. And that's what I set it at. Yeah, I ended up losing it by $1.33, which means if I just would have bid $2 extra, I would have had a nice 9.8 Mark Brooks signed copy of Conan the Barbarian number 2. You know what? It's a good idea to limit yourself and put caps on how much money you're willing to spend. On that one, I just think I cut myself a little too short. So here is a sketch cover, Conan the Barbarian number 2. And again, here's another cool number 2 cover. And I am done with the number 2s right here. This is a cool cover. Now, this one right here, I love this. This is cover for issue number 3. Now, this just shows the art on this. You know, Conan is in a pretty big predicament. They literally have an axe swinging over his head. So, let's see what happens with that one. But that is the first issue for the first variant for issue number 3. Here is another one for issue number 3. You know, he's fighting a scroll, okay? You know, now that Conan is in the regular Marvel universe with Savage Avengers, it's not so crazy to think about, but, you know, Conan fighting a space alien just doesn't seem normal, but I guess it is. Now, here is the Scarlet Witch, who's a character in the first arc of this series. She's kind of like the person in the background directing things. Another variant. I like this variant right here. This is the 1 in 25 variant. Another one right here. Conan swinging on a horse. Now, I don't know why, but I just like this one. The art is, I'm not going to say simple. The detail in the face and everything's pretty, it's just a cool cover. I don't know how to explain, you know, what makes me drawn to some covers as opposed to others. Issue number 4, again, another King Conan. Those who have never read Conan, you know, Robert E. Howard, whenever he wrote these stories originally back in the 1930s, his stories would jump to different parts of his life, and they weren't written in chronological orders. In fact, the first book, story, I guess, because he submitted them to Weird Tales Pulp magazine. The first story that he submitted, Conan was a king in that story, but eventually Conan, he travels the world and he eventually ends up, you know, fighting and earning this kingdom. So a lot of times the stories will go back and forth. The comic books, for the most part, have concentrated on Conan as either, you know, a young man or one of his traveling stages in his life. There was a Conan the King comic book series done by Marvel. It lasted 55 issues. Fabulous. One of the most underrated reads out there is Conan the King. And it came out in the early 80s by Marvel. It came out once every 2 months. They were double-sized comic books. But if you guys are looking for a good read that won't take up, you know, like ASM where it's in the 800s. If you just want a short little read, Conan the King from Marvel is a great series. I think issue 20, it went from King Conan to issue 21 was Conan the King. But it's the same series. They just renamed it. Issue number 4 right here. I guess he now has a line with him and he's dead. If you look on the... I don't know if he's wearing a skull mask or... I don't know what it is. But it's neat. It's a cool cover. Now, I like covers like this because a lot of, Conan, he wasn't really around during electric lighting. So the firelight is what he went by if he was going into a place at night. And so I just like covers like this that pretty much depict it as it probably would have maybe looked. I don't know. I was never a thief, back 10,000 years ago in the Hyborian age. Now, here's a variant copy for issue number 4. It's slabbed by CGC. This has my second favorite comic book character on it with Spider-Man. Conan out on the ocean, which a lot of Conan stories, this is actually issue number 5. A lot of Conan stories take place of him out in the ocean. He was also a pirate. Issue number 5 variant. I believe this is the 1 in 25 variant. And this is the 1 in 50. This is a John Buscema Hidden Gem cover right here. Love this one. Some of these I want to send off to be slabbed. I probably won't send most of them because you can't slab everything. The cost does start to become significant. You can't just have every book in your collection slabbed. But sometimes I think about it for preservation's sake. But then it becomes an issue of storage. Where the heck are you going to put all these? Because storing books that are this thin, with the bag and board, that becomes an issue when you get, many copies. The slabs are a lot bigger and, a lot harder to store. They do take up more space, and trust me, it does start to add up once you get a significant amount. So here is Here is Conan the Barbarian number 6. And here is a 1 in 25 variant for number 6. I had to order this online from Third Eye Comics. I had to get it from eBay. A lot of times these variant issues, my regular LCS doesn't have them, so I have to go online order them. Sometimes they do have them, but sometimes my LCS does have them, and I am able to get them there. Issue number 7 right here. Now, I'm kind of excited about this one because I love the character Man-Thing. I'm hoping he makes a on-screen appearance sometime soon. Hey, they talk about the Nexus a lot in the MCU, so hopefully he gets into the storyline sometime soon. Here's another issue for number 7. Another variant. Here was another hidden John Buscema gem, a 1 in 50 variant for issue number 7. Issue number 8. Not every issue has 25 variants, but everyone has at least 2, and some issues have 3 variants. Issue number 8 right here. It's a variant issue right here. Wait, which one? Okay. This issue is the A cover. Variant. And here is a third variant. This was a 1 in 25. This was just another variant. Issue number 9 right here. And the variant for, well, there's 2 variants for number 9. These 2. I think this was a 1 in 25. You have to forgive me. I sometimes forget which one's which. I have them all cataloged. They are all online. I can pull them up, just use my tablet right here. Easy to find. It's just I don't need to do it every single time. The Scarlet Witch on the cover of issue number 10 right here. And this issue, this variant, 1 in 25 variant for issue number 10, I love this. I love the reflection in the sword as Conan's holding it. Great art. Now, this is not the Todd McFarlane cover. Todd McFarlane did a cover for Conan the Barbarian back in the 90s. Love that cover. This isn't it, but it does remind you of that cover way back when. Issue number 11 right here. A variant issue for number 11. And for the most part, I think once we get past 10, or maybe it was 9, I forget. I think for the most part, there's just 2 covers per issue now. It's really starting to not slow down, but there was a lot of hype whenever the series first came out. Issue number 1 sold over 108,000 copies. They're still selling strong, but not as strong as they were whenever they first came out. This is issue number 12. 1 in 25 of issue number 12. Number 13 right here. The 1 in 25 of 13. A cover, number 14. And like I said, the art on this series is spectacular. You know, it just keeps on staying strong. And it's not one artist, okay? You know, a lot of the run for Conan the Barbarian, you had, you know, the same artist for many series in a row. Started out with Barry Windsor Smith. There was a couple Gil Kane covers in Barry Windsor Smith's run. John Buscema had a giant run on there. Gil Kane, you know, who I'd already talked about, he also had a nice little run on Conan the Barbarian. Now at the end, you had Todd McFarlane, you had Jim Lee cover. You know, they did start to mix it up a little bit. There was a guy named Val Semetics. He also was a cover artist on there. But for the most part, you know, like they would stay the same artist for long stretches. And now there was a series. It lasted 275 issues. Now, this one's only 22 issues in. And guys, there are more cover artists in this run than there was in the original Conan Barbarian run. Now, this is number 15. Little Edgar Allan Poe action going on here. And the 1 in 25 variant of issue number 15 right here. I just saw this. Somebody wrote, not on the book, it's on Scotch tape on this, but it says 125, so not exactly sure what shop I got that from. It might have been my regular LCS, just don't know. So here's issue number 16. And here's the 1 in 25 variant of issue number 16. Love the art on this. The savagery in Conan's eyeballs on this. Now, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the sword. I don't know if it's glowing. I don't know what's going on. To be honest with you, I've read up to issue number 10 on this series, and I haven't read from there on. So, it probably is told about in the storyline. I just haven't got to that point yet. Now, this is one of my favorite covers in the Conan the Barbarian series. This is a variant cover, the 1 in 25 for issue number 17. And here is not a 1 in 25. I don't even think it's a ratio variant. I just think it's a cover B, if you will, of issue number 17. Now, number 18. You know, the A cover. And the B cover for number 18. This is becoming an extra long video. And some of you guys are not going to be watching it to this point. Some of you guys will. But if you're a Conan fan, hey, I have a feeling you're going to stick around to it. We'll see. So I like to keep them relatively short, but sometimes you just have a lot to talk about. Issue number 19, the A cover. And issue number 19, B cover. I don't know what it is about it. Whenever Conan, the artists do a really good job. But if you read stories, Conan does not like being caged up. It is not something that he is used to. He was born free in the lands of Samaria, you know, where he could run and roam as he could, and his people were never subjected to, you know, captivity. So, anyhow, Conan doesn't do very well with it. They capture it well with this cover. Issue number 20, right here. I guess he's fighting a, I don't know if it's a saber-toothed lion or tiger, but it's definitely a big cat. The 1 in 25 variant right here. I don't know. I kind of like the trade dress up here. It makes you remember, you know, the original Marvel back, or not the original, but the original run of Conan on Marvel. Dark Horse had the series rights for 14 years or something like that. maybe 15 years, forgive me. But anyhow, so Dark Horse had the rights to Conan for a while. Marvel has since got them back. Issue 21A cover. And the 1 in 25 variant of issue number 21. Now, I'm going to post a picture of issue 22A cover, but I don't actually have it on hand right now. It's still at the LCS. They end up getting a bunch of books together, then they mail them off to me. A lot of times when you guys see my haul videos, I didn't go actually out and buy them. I did buy them, but they end up coming to me in the mail. So this is the 1 in 25 variant of issue number 22 of Conan the Barbarian. Hey guys, this was a long video. Thanks for sticking around. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and put a comment down below. I love to read comments, and I love to respond to those comments as well. So guys, I want to thank everyone for watching, and you have a great day.